The Dallas Cowboys have gotten some great production out of wide receiver George Pickens throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. Pickens has proven that he's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL, doing it against an elite Green Bay Packers defense on Sunday night. Pickens finished that game with 8 receptions for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 16.8 yards per catch. While Pickens has been as good as it gets early on, it's also important to note that he has an upcoming contract situation that the Cowboys will need to address. When speaking to reporters about the situation, Jerry Jones stated that it's something the team is working on. Whether that comes in the immediate future or at the end of the season, it sure sounds like Jones and the Cowboys want to get something done with their new star. He's an exemplary teammate. He is exemplary in his work preparation, and you can see the results of that out there on Sundays, obviously. Reminds me a little of his weight has different contortions as he's catching a ball. He can just catch the ball in any set of circumstance, Jones said per the team. I'm proud to tell you that we've got some outstanding structure in our cap space that will allow us to do a lot of things that I didn't think when we finished this time last year that we might have the room to do some of these things we're talking about doing. We got it. How much are the Cowboys willing to pay George Pickens? The question now for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys will be centered on how much money Pickens could get. When predicting his contract a few months ago, Rohan Chakravarti of SB Nation had him coming in at a $52.5 million deal, which would be compared to what Jerry Jeudy's got with the Cleveland Browns. However, Chakravarti also mentioned the 4-year, $92 million deal that Calvin Ridley signed with the Tennessee Titans. If Pickens continues to play this way, that $92 million deal feels a lot better than the deal Jeudy took. When thinking of a baseline, think of Cleveland Browns wideout Jerry Jeudy, who signed a 3-year, $52.5 million deal with $41 million guaranteed after being traded last offseason. Another contract to note is Calvin Ridley's 4-year, $92 million deal in free agency with the Tennessee Titans. Yes, free agency usually boosts a player's value, but Pickens could be in that situation next offseason as his rookie deal finishes, he wrote. Can George Pickens stay level-headed for the Cowboys? The most important aspect for the Dallas Cowboys and Pickens is ensuring that he remains level-headed on the field. There were instances with the Pittsburgh Steelers before being traded to the Cowboys when Pickens would be doing things on the field that just weren't acceptable. It was surprising considering he played for Mike Tomlin, but that was likely part of the reason the team decided to move on. Nevertheless, Pickens understands what's going on and is happy to be in Dallas. As long as that remains true over the next few years, if they secure a contract, nothing should unfold that will alter how he plays. The minute I sat down with George Pickens in my office, it was very clear to me this guy was fired up to be a Dallas Cowboy and excited to help us go win games, head coach Brian Schottenheimer said, per ESPN. You got to remember this is a team game, Pickens said. This is not like one-on-one basketball where it's just me and another player. This is a team game. After the Dallas Cowboys traded superstar linebacker Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, one of the most anticipated games of the 2025 NFL season was set for Week 4, with these two storied franchises going head-to-head at AT&T Stadium. The showdown between the Packers and Cowboys and Parsons' return to Dallas didn't disappoint, except for the result, as these teams scoring 40 points apiece wasn't enough to avoid a tie. It was an absolute offensive slugfest, which provided a lot of entertainment but also raised a number of questions for both teams heading into Week 5. One storyline that has been interesting for the Cowboys heading into Week 5 is one-time All-Pro cornerback Trayvon Diggs getting benched against the Packers. Trayvon Diggs opens up about not starting. Diggs did not start in Week 4 against the Packers due to disciplinary reasons stemming from issues both on and off the field. The veteran corner was asked about the benching, and he gave an interesting response. Rough week, Diggs said during media availability on Wednesday. I guess coach is holding me accountable. It's cool. Back on track this week, ready to work. When asked if he'll be starting in Week 5 against the New York Jets on Sunday, on the road at MetLife Stadium, the 27-year-old had a simple one-word answer. Yeah, Diggs said. Clearly, there appears to be some tension between Diggs and the Cowboys coaching staff, but there's a chance it can be resolved with a strong performance against the Jets. Cowboys' defense is a massive problem. It has been a strange season for the Cowboys thus far, which began with the team trading arguably its best player before the Week 1 divisional showdown with the New York Giants. Dallas will head into Week 5 with an unusual record of 1-2-1, and it's unclear whether this team can turn things around or is destined to miss the NFL playoffs this season. There's no question that the defense is an issue for the Cowboys, as they've struggled to stop opponents since sending their defensive leader to the Packers. However, the Cowboys might be formidable on offense, with star quarterback Dak Prescott leading the way, even without star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who is dealing with an ankle injury. At this point, it seems as though it will have to be Prescott and company on offense to lead the way in order to give this team any chance of clinching a spot in the playoffs, even though it is admittedly very early in the 2025 campaign. Despite only winning one game so far this season, Prescott is leading the league in passing, with 1,119 yards to his credit. The Cowboys are also sitting ahead of Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills, averaging 404.3 yards per game, with a league-leading 281.3 passing yards per contest. However, the Cowboys' defense ranks last in the NFL, allowing 420.5 yards per game. Dallas is also second to last in the league, tied with the Baltimore Ravens' 33.3, giving up 33 points, which is obviously not ideal for a team that wants to be postseason bound in the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys have been missing a star running back since Ezekiel Elliott was in his prime. Javonte Williams, a free agent acquisition, has been productive this year, totaling 312 yards on 64 carries to go along with 4 touchdowns. But behind him, Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue don't provide much when the former UNC star comes off the field for a breather. If the Cowboys want to get back to their old ground-and-pound ways of years past, they may have the opportunity to add to their running back room in the 2026 draft and create a new, two-headed monster in the backfield. Mock Draft has the Cowboys selecting Notre Dame running back Jeremiyah Love in a recent mock draft from USA Today. Ayrton Osley has the Cowboys selecting Notre Dame running back Jeremiyah Love 21st overall, with the draft pick they received from the Green Bay Packers in the Micah Parsons deal. Dallas continues to bolster the offense with its extra first-round pick. The Cowboys' running game has taken a step forward with Brian Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams in 2025. Love would give them a dynamic threat to maximize it, wrote Osley. He's a true three-down running back with bursts to make plays in the running or passing game. A year after the Cowboys missed out on Ashton Janney, they get the top running back in the class this time around. As of now, Love is the most highly touted running back prospect in the 2026 class. Through 4 games, the Fighting Irish star has 5 touchdowns to go along with 341 yards on 66 carries, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. Having both Williams and Love in Dallas would unlock a new level for the Cowboys' offense and would certainly alleviate some of the workload off of quarterback Dak Prescott.